Welcome to my YouTube channel Basketball Official. The 2025 WNBA Playoffs will be remembered not as a mere tournament, but as a seismic event that recalibrated the very axis of women's basketball, a 2-month-long epic where legacy was forged, dynasties were challenged, and a new generation of superstars announced their arrival with a thunderous roar that echoed far beyond the hardwood. It was a postseason where the narrative was written not in ink, but in breathtaking, gravity-defying, and heart-stopping plays that were instantly seared into the collective memory of every fan who witnessed them. To compile a mere list of the top 20 plays from such a historic crucible is to attempt to capture lightning in a bottle. But within this collection lies the essential story of the 2025 playoffs, a story of clutch defensive stands that were as beautiful as any dunk, of audacious deep-range shooting that stretched the very geometry of the court, of game-winning buzzer beaters that suspended time itself, and of individual displays of athleticism so profound they felt like a glimpse into the sport's future. We begin our countdown not with a flashy offensive move, but with a defensive masterpiece that set the tone for an entire series, a play that embodied the old adage that defense wins championships, a notion perfectly encapsulated in play number 20, Breanna Stewart's series-defining, swatting Game 2 of the semifinals. The New York Liberty, seeking redemption after a heartbreaking finals loss the previous year, found themselves in a dogfight with a young, hungry Chicago Sky team that refused to back down. With under a minute left and the Liberty clinging to a 2-point lead, Chicago's star guard, Rhyne Howard, drove baseline, using a crafty hesitation dribble to get a half step on her defender, and elevated for what seemed like a certain game-tying floater. But from the weak side, like a phantom, came Breanna Stewart, her 6 feet 4 inches frame uncoiling with impossible grace and timing, her long arms stretching across the lane to not just block, but to emphatically smother Howard's shot, palming the ball at its apex and ripping it from the air with the authority of a center fielder, snagging a line drive. The collective gasp from the Barclays Center crowd was immediately followed by a deafening roar as Stewart secured the possession, a play that did more than just secure a victory. It broke the spirit of a feisty opponent and sent a clear message that the Liberty's path to a title would be paved with defensive resilience, a single swat that carried the weight of 1,000 points. The very next night, in the other semifinal series, we witnessed the arrival of a new playoff icon, a player whose fearlessness seems to grow in direct proportion to the pressure of the moment, leading to play number 19, Caitlin Clark's 40-foot dagger to end the third quarter in Game 3 against the Las Vegas Aces. The Indiana Fever, having stolen home court advantage with a split in Vegas, were in a brutal, physical battle with the defending champion Aces, a game characterized by stifling defense and every possession feeling like a war of attrition. With the shot clock turned off and just 3 seconds remaining in the third quarter, Clark received an inbound pass near her own bench, took 2 hurried dribbles over the half-court line, and with Aya Wilson, the league's premier defender, closing out with her long arms outstretched, Clark launched a prayer from a distance that would be considered ill-advised in a warm-up drill. The ball sailed through the air in a perfect, high arc, a speck against the bright lights of Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and as the buzzer sounded, it ripped through the net without even touching the rim. A swish so pure, it was almost silent for a split second before the entire arena erupted into absolute bedlam. That shot, a 40-foot statement of intent, didn't just give the Fever a psychological lift, it fundamentally shifted the momentum of the series, proving that no lead was safe against Clark's limitless range, a weapon that forced the Aces to defend all 94 feet of the court, and announced that the Fever were not just happy to be there, they were there to conquer. From one long-range bomb to another that was even more audacious, we look to play number 18, Sabrina Ionescu's off-balance, contested 3 to beat the shot clock in the Eastern Conference Finals. In a critical Game 4 against the Connecticut Sun, with the Liberty offense stagnating and the shot clock winding down under 3 seconds, Ionescu found herself trapped near the right sideline, double-teamed by 2 relentless Sun defenders. With no options left, she leaped sideways, fading away from the basket and using a prodigious amount of core strength to somehow square her shoulders mid-air, launching a desperation 3-pointer over 2 outstretched hands. The degree of difficulty was off the charts, a shot that would make even the most confident NBA gunner blush, and when splashed through the net, it sucked the very life out of the Mohegan Sun Arena, a demoralizing bucket that exemplified Ionescu's legendary shooting prowess and her unshakable belief that every shot she takes is going in. A single play that felt like a 6-point swing and effectively iced a crucial road victory. But the playoffs are not solely an offensive showcase. They are a war of attrition where role players become legends, and no play exemplified this more than play number 17, Aaliyah Boston's game-saving charge in Game 5 of the Finals. The scene was set for a storybook ending for the Las Vegas Aces, trailing by 1 point in the final 10 seconds of a winner-take-all Game 5. Chelsea Gray, the point guard, had the ball in her hands, weaving her magic at the top of the key, using a screen to get a mismatch against the slower Boston in the post. Gray drove left, using a series of her trademark hesitations and shimmies, creating just enough space to rise up for her patented, game-winning mid-range jumper. But as she elevated Boston, instead